Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special Glory Days 4 edition of the AWF ReAction podcast. I am your host, Phillip Ontario, and I'm being joined by special guest host, and we're going to talk about the Glory Days 4 card. First, we have a returning guest here. We have Mr. Money in the Bank, the man who will be...
You're damn right.
Well, of course, AJ Young here, not wasting any time to speak.
Hello, all.
AJ, we're going to talk about all the matches, including his. Speaking of people who will be having matches, we also have on the AWF United States Champion, John Blackos.
Indeed. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. We also have on our new correspondent overseas. We have Michael England.
So a pleasure to be here to talk about what's going to be a historic 2 days at Glory Days.
Yes, it's going to be a huge weekend here for the AWF. We have 2 days, Uprising, Superstar Mayhem, 17 total matches, folks. This is the biggest card in AWF history. So let's dive right into this. First, we're going to start off with a brand new concept that AWF owner Shawn Walsh has introduced over the course of the past few months, and that is the $1 Million Championship, which will be decided in a fatal 4-way matchup. We have Don Martin, Travis Sparks, Kamikaze, Tank. They'll be competing for the championship. So, who do you guys think is going to walk out of this one, and what do you think of this match? First, we're going to go to we're going to go to John. John, what do you think?
Well, this concept is very interesting because you see, Mr. AJ Young over there is still Mr. Money in the Bank, and he hasn't cashed in yet. But this is different. It's like Money in the Bank, but a championship at the same time. So I think it's pretty interesting, as well as the participants in this match. You have Don Martin, who's a former US champion just like me. You have Travis Sparks, who is a former junior heavyweight champion. You have Kamikaze, who's a former contender to the Call Stars title. And you got Tank, who's a former world champion here, and another champion as well. So I think this is a very hard one. I think I'm going to go with Travis Sparks.
Travis Sparks.
Yes.
Michael, who do you got here? Who's taking this home?
No, I think this is a very interesting, a very new concept. To me, I think you have to break it down to two different things. Well, the person that you pick today, you pick to win this as your prediction. For me, I have to go with John. It'd be Travis Sparks. But as well as that, you have to evaluate and look at it in the sense of, will they be able to pick that right time, announce it the right week before, to go in with enough momentum and enough knowledge of the opponent, of the world champion they face, to cash this in. This isn't like Mr. Young's Money in the Bank, where he can cash it in on the flip of a switch like that. This has to be announced beforehand. So not only will this match create history, but it's going to take a smart man to not only win this match, to take out his three opponents, but to then cash this in successfully. And I believe out of the people involved, that Travis Sparks has the know-how and the capability to not only win this match, but win the world title by cashing in this $1 Million Championship title belt when he does.
Now, AJ, we're going to go to you, and I also want to know, with you being Mr. Money in the Bank, what do you think of going down, first of all, as the last Money in the Bank holder, and this new concept, and who's taking it home?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it is quite an honor to be the last AWF Money in the Bank holder, and it's awesome to be the last person that has a guaranteed championship match. I don't have to defend my Money in the Bank against anybody. All I have to do is just pick my opportunity, and then you could be looking at the next AWF champion. As far as this concept, it's a unique concept because you have a responsibility as a champion, but you're a challenger at the same time. You obviously your eyes are on the prize as far as being an AWF champion, but there's other people who want the shot that you want as well. And the $1 Million Championship is the golden ticket to an AWF championship opportunities. But when you think of $1 million, the first person that comes to mind is Don Martin and Don Martin Enterprises. He has been so close to the top. I mean, he was an awesome AWF United States champion, obviously a former tag team champion with Dynamite, and he just needs that one thing to take him into the next plateau. I think that the $1 Million Championship is the way to do it. I'm going with Don Martin.
All right. Going to be very interesting to see Travis Sparks and Don Martin. They seem to be the favorites going in. Don't doubt Kamikaze and Tank. You know, John, you list off their previous accomplishments as well. Be very interesting to see who's going to be the first $1 Million champion. Now we're going to go on to one of quite a few tag team matches that will be taking place. We're going to see 4 junior heavyweight competitors in tag team action. We're going to see the new team of Andre Nogueira and Matt Black, 2 of AWF's newest stars, taking on Alberto Jr. and Eddie Sleaze. These guys have been at each other's throats, been attacking each other for the past few episodes, and now it's come to this. Who's going to get the chance to shine here at Glory Days? John, we're going to go back to you first. Who's taking the win here?
Well, it's quite simple. I don't see how Andre Nogueira and Matt Black could lose this.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's big
Or maybe
statement there.
what's that girl's name again? That girl with Alberto Jr.?
Roxanne?
Yes, she could be a distraction. So they gotta watch out for that. But other than that, I think it's no problem for them to win this match.
No problem for Nogueira and Black. Michael, do you think the same thing? Do you think it'll be no problem? What do you think?
I wouldn't say no problem, but I definitely can see the team of Andre Nogueira and Matt Black picking up the win here. There's no better time to watch the junior heavyweight division or to be a junior heavyweight. The amount of talent running through that division, and especially with now the addition of Matt Black, that adds that with these 4 men. Not only have a look at the championship match going forward for the junior heavyweight title, there's also the opportunity in the tag team division as well. There's a lot at stake for these 4 men. There is 2 possible divisions that these people can slide into quite easily. And while we have seen Alberto Jr. and Eddie Sleaze, they've worked as a unit for a little bit longer than Matt Black and Andre Nogueira, give or take an episode or 2. But when it comes to the sheer talent and the sheer potential of Andre Nogueira and Matt Black, not only singles competitors, but as a tag team, I feel like you have to be very excited, and it's very unlikely that they would that they would lose, but I just can't see that. There's too much momentum and too much hype between those 2, not for the future, but for now. And they will definitely, they have to walk away with the win if they want to cement that future potential.
Okay, AJ, what do you think? Who's taking this?
You bring up the junior heavyweight division, you can thank me for all the talent. The junior heavyweight division is what it is today because of me. But back to the subject. This is a classic case of youth versus experience. Obviously, Alberto Jr. and Eddie Sleaze, no strangers to call wrestling. But even with that considered, I'm going to have to go with Andre Nogueira and Matt Black. If you see Matt Black's work in El Dorado Championship Wrestling, he has next big thing written all over him. So I think Nogueira and Black are going to pull out the win.
All right, it seems to be unanimous there. Oh, we'll see what happens. Eddie Sleaze and Alberto Jr. may not be happy about that, but maybe they'll convince panelists otherwise. Now let's move on to the next contest. Another tag team matchup was kind of boiled up in the past few weeks in what started in a long rivalry between Brent Thompson and CJ Hawkins. Due to their match at Meltdown, they've come together. They are now teaming up, and seemingly C.J. Hawkins has accepted this and embraced this. And some of their examples have been at the expense of Rich and Famous, and the aggression these guys have shown is the most I've seen in a long time from them. This is leading to this match. What's going to happen here? First, I want to go to AJ, because AJ has been an outspoken supporter of Rich and Famous. What do you think of what you've seen? Do you think we could see them pull off what would many consider an upset victory?
Normally, I would say yes. I've been a big supporter of Rich and Famous for a while, no secret there. But at the same time, Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins are on an entirely different level. Brent Thompson, for whatever reason, went a little loco. And now C.J. Hawkins, I've been in the ring with C.J. Hawkins. He is no joke. You have a former Call Stars champion and a former world champion. Rich and Famous, I love them, but they will be lucky to escape with their arms intact. I'm going with Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins.
John, what do you think?
Well, it's quite weird, because ever since Brent Thompson lost the title, like AJ said, he's been going just a little bit crazy. Could say, yeah, just a little bit. And now you got C.J. Hawkins on his side because of that match he won at Meltdown, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now they are both crazy, could say. And Rich and Famous, as they got talent, but I don't think they are ready for this type of situation where you got two crazy guys going after you. I think Brett Thompson and C.J. Hawkins are going to take this match.
Oh, wow. Okay. Michael, do you think the same? Do you think it's going to be just like these guys? Do you think it's going to be a Thompson-Hawkins victory?
I hear a lot of talk about how C.J. Hawkins has embraced this different lifestyles, this different choices, that as well as Brent Thompson also going down that crazy train. But I feel when it comes to something like that, Rich and Famous, I believe, made a fatal error in judgment in giving these two a common target that they can work together to take out. The enemy of my enemy is my friend is a true saying. And when it comes to these two, we maybe at the start C.J. Hawkins didn't endure the terms of this extermination match. He didn't want to join forces with Brent Thompson. But now that Rich and Famous have targeted these two beforehand, and we have this tag team match, they unite against these two in a common goal. We don't know what kind of effect that's going to have, not only on Rich and Famous, but the rest of the tag team division. Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins are two of the most talented individuals on that Superstar Mayhem roster. So imagine how talented they are on their own, how good they will be as a unit. But at the same time, we are yet to see them fully as a unit. And Rich and Famous, they are a tag team by trade, and they've been a tag team a lot longer. But at the same time, we'll still see Brent Thompson and C.J. Hawkins picking up the win there.
That'd be very interesting. If I can add one note here, I'd say this all comes down to where C.J. Hawkins' mindset has been. We know he's had bad history with Brent Thompson. Brent Thompson's broken his arm. We know that they are seemingly together, and that's the key word, seemingly. Will that be the same at Glory? I think that's what comes down to what's going to happen in the result of this match. Now we're going on to both of our tag team championship matchups. First, we're going to stick on Superstar Mayhem here, the AWF tag team championships. The Maverick Brothers, who have been the lead on Superstar Mayhem as tag team champions, going up against Big Dwayne and Dynamite. They beat these guys back at the Royal Rumble. Big Dwayne and Dynamite, they took some time. They trained and they got ready. They're having another opportunity here. Are the Maverick Brothers going to walk out again with the titles? Or are Big Dwayne and Dynamite back and going to win those titles once again? John, what do you think?
Can we talk about the fact that Big Dwayne and Dynamite I think it was them that ended Arisen from Nothing in AWF. Was
It
it?
was the Blood Brothers.
That was the Blood Brothers.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad.
It's okay.
However, I still think they're gonna win the tag titles at Glory Days.
New champions.
They've been training. Yes, they've been training like crazy. And I think that loss at the Royal Rumble made them realize that it's no joke, that the Maverick Brothers are no joke. And I think this time they're gonna beat the Maverick Brothers and win the tag team gold.
Okay. Michael, do you echo the same? Who's walking out with the tag team titles?
Now, in a tag team division, obviously teams form to only split up a little bit down the line, or teams get traded, or we lose teams altogether. The Maverick Brothers have been a constant in this division for a good while now, and you've got to wonder, when does their luck, or when does their reign end? And Big Dwayne and Dynamite are no joke. Perhaps losing at the Royal Rumble was the best thing that could happen to them, so they could take a step back, focus on this match. But when it comes to this, I still see the Maverick Brothers walking out with the titles. There's something about those two where them as a tag team is, as it stands at me, they are currently unparalleled on Superstar Mayhem. But we've just detailed 2 other tag team matches, and that will provide them with a lot more challenges going forward to next season. I don't think that Glory Days is going to see the end of the Maverick Brothers' tag team run. It will definitely be sometime soon, and I dare say that will put a smile on Jay Crack's face when that happens.
Okay, so you got the Maverick Brothers retaining with the tag team titles. AJ, we know you got some history with the Maverick Brothers dating back to your early days here in the AWF, so you know what they're about. Do you think they're going to keep the belt, or are we seeing new champions?
Despite my issues with the Maverick Brothers, they are without a doubt the best young tag team in AWF today. However, Big Dwayne and Dynamite are back and possibly better than ever. Big Dwayne and Dynamite have the experience. They have the power advantage. I'm pretty sure they were able to take their loss at the Royal Rumble and reanalyze, figure out what they did wrong and come back better than ever. I have no doubt about it. I'm going with Big Dwayne and Dynamite.
Okay. This will be very interesting. Let's see what happens here. Really looking forward to this match. Just like I'm looking forward to the World Tag Team Championship match over on Uprising, and a clash that, since the challengers have arrived in the AWF, it's been a match that I've been looking forward to see. We're going to see the champs, the Disciples, going up against the Blood Brothers, 2 of the most accomplished teams in not just the AWF, but here in Call Wrestling. So, the Disciples, recently, they won back the tag team titles, and besides a few months that they didn't have them, they had them for most of the season. Do the Disciples' reign come to an end at Glory Days, or will they go through the Blood Brothers? We're going to go to Michael first. Who's walking out with the titles?
This is another close call when it comes to a tag team title match on the Glory Days card. Because of course they've had their ups and they've had their downs this season. They ended AFN, but then they lost to the Maverick Brothers and were quickly shipped off to Uprising. You can see this as a new fresh start for them, and what better way to cap that fresh start off by winning the World Tag Team Championships from the Disciples, arguably the tag team of the season. But at the same time, these two, apart from that blip against the Alex Enterprise and Fisk, have been largely unstoppable and highly impressive. I don't see their tag team reign ending at Glory Days 4, so they are going to retain the tag team titles against the Blood Brothers.
Okay, alright. AJ, what do you think?
If this were any other team, I'd probably be going with the Blood Brothers. But the Disciples are not any other team. They've gone through every single tag team that has crossed their path, and they're still coming out and coming back better than ever. The Disciples have found ways to elevate their game match after match after match. I don't think it ends at Glory Days. I'm convinced the Disciples will die as tag team champions.
All right, John, what are you thinking here? Who's walking out with the titles?
Another close call. The Blood Brothers, yes, they are badasses. Yes, they are hard-hitting, wrestlers, you could say. You've got Owen White with the brass knucks and the Rogue Shark. But, man, the Disciples, they're just unstoppable since the beginning of the season. They've beat everyone, almost every team on the Uprising roster. And I don't see them losing the title at Glory Days.
All right, Disciples to retain here. Blood Brothers, according to the panelists here, not going to be the team to put a stop to the Disciples. We'll see what happens. I can't wait for those two to collide. Also, we're going to see the Internet Championship defended when the Ultimate One, Nitro, defends his championship against Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash he's had some opportunities in the past, hasn't succeeded. Faced Nitro back in Meltdown, didn't win the title though, but he has pinned Nitro in the past. Will the Ultimate One walk out with the title, or is Kevin Cash going to get his big moment and become Internet Champion? We're going to go to, again, we're going to start with Michael here. Who's walking out with the Internet title?
I think this one's pretty simple. We're going to see a repeat of Meltdown. We're going to see Nitro retain that Internet Championship and continue with his run. I don't think that Kevin Cash can beat Nitro in a big situation like this. We saw at Meltdown who couldn't beat him, and while he might have pinned him in the past is that. We're talking about, if you want to talk about past, we can talk about the recent history, the fact that Nitro retained that title against Kevin Cash, and we can talk about the future and the fact that Nitro will retain that title. He's been on the roll. Nitro has been impressive every time he steps into the ring, and I don't see his Internet title reign ending. Hell, we could be talking at Glory Days 5 about Nitro still being the Internet Champion. He is that good. That title is fixed to him, and it will continue to be there with him for a good while yet.
Okay, John, who do you have?
Wow. I don't agree with Michael on this one. I think that this time Kevin Cash will be ready. I think he's not going to make the same mistakes he made at Meltdown. I think he learned from that match actually. And since he pinned Nitro before, he's got the momentum going on. I think it's time for his big moment. The big moment he's been waiting for a long while now. And I think he's going to win the Internet title from Nitro.
Wow, alright. AJ, who do you have here?
At ScyberSlam, I watched Nitro get beat half to death by Ray Geddes from backstage. It was probably one of the most brutal matches I've seen. But Nitro kept fighting. He would not go down without a fight. And that's the attitude that Nitro has had as of late. This whole rejuvenation. He's not this happy-go-lucky guy anymore. He's starting to realize who he is as a person and as a competitor. So, quite frankly, regardless of the experience that Kevin Cash has, I'm going to have to go with Nitro on this one.
Okay, all right. Now, we have one of the most anticipated matches of the night taking place, where we're going to see the Junior Heavyweight Championship defended. AJ Young over here may know a thing or two about that title. And we're going to see the reigning champion, Brandon Wolf, who's been on top of the Call World. He's won a bunch of junior championships in different promotions, including here in the AWF. He's held the championships in ScyberSlam when he defeated Travis Sparks, who is the longest reigning champion. Brandon Wolf was the man to put a stop to that championship reign, and he's been champion ever since, and he has beaten every challenger coming his way. But now he goes through someone who at one point was very close with him, someone he considers a mentor, someone who's helped him become who Brandon Wolf is today, someone he once considered a close friend in Ben Hopkins. And now that friendship is over, and these guys are waiting to get their hands on one another, and they're looking to see who's walking out with the championship. There's a lot of variables to this, but it comes down to one. Who will be junior heavyweight champion? Will it be Brandon Wolf? Will it be Ben Hopkins? AJ, we're going to save you for last on this one because I'm very interested in your insight because of the championship. John, who's winning? Wolf, Hopkins, and why?
Oh dear God. This is a very hard one because I respect those two guys, and I consider Ben as a backstage friend as well as Brandon.
Well, let me ask you this. You talk about, and then everyone knows you were friends with Ben. With his actions as of late, were you surprised by them, or did you expect them?
I was kind of surprised because I didn't think he would go that far. Like, Brandon trusted him. He thought that this match that they were gonna have at Glory Days, he thought that it was gonna be a respectful match, with no animosity whatsoever. But then Ben pulls the trigger and kind of betrays Brandon because he wants the title. That's the thing on his mind right now. He wants the junior heavyweight title, and he wants to prove that Brandon is a quote-unquote fraud. And as much as it hurts me to say this, I think Ben is gonna win at Glory Days because he would go to any length and he would go to any way possible to win the title at this point.
So you got Ben. Even if Brandon Wolf brings the Night Wolf, Ben Hopkins is going to do what it takes to win the title, correct?
Yes, let's be honest, the Night Wolf, the Crazy Wolf, the whatever wolf he wants to bring in, I don't think Ben actually even cares.
So you think there's no face?
Yes.
Wow.
To him, even if he comes out as the Night Wolf, to him it's still Brandon Wolf.
This is very interesting words, and we're going to see that. And I think you might be right about that, and you're friends with Ben, so this might be the insight. Now we're going to go to Michael here. I mean, your fellow native Englishman, is he walking out with the championship? Is it going to be Brandon Wolf? There's a lot of emotion in this match that could really dictate what happens.
Just before I go into how I feel about the match and what's going to happen there, I just want to address something from John. You said you were surprised at what happened with Ben turning on Brandon. I feel the complete opposite way. The fact that it didn't happen sooner surprised me with Ben. That he waited so long. You look at this for how long, I can't remember, but people talk about your Brandon Wolf, your John Blackos, your Ben Hopkins, but those three people grouped together as this future of CAW. And you've had John over in COH having a hell of a feud with Jay Crack over the Internet title. You've had Brandon Wolf having killer matches with people in main events and winning world titles and everything. And then you've had Ben Hopkins, who's probably been the odd one out in tag team matches, in feuds against the likes of Snap and Tap Inc. and World KO. So when you look at Ben, he's hearing all of this comparison. He's thinking, well, why am I not getting those opportunities? Why is it that I am the one stuck here instead of up there? And he's thinking, why should I have to wait my turn when the people I'm being compared with are given this already? So maybe he doesn't. Maybe when it comes to Brandon Wolf, there might be a little bit of respect left in there. Brandon Wolf is a hell of a competitor, and no one will disagree with that. But he represents something that I don't think Ben particularly likes, in the sense that people were given opportunities, and he was compared to them and not given those opportunities. There's a lot of rage and aggression between both of those, and I do agree with John when he says that Ben wouldn't be phased from the Night Wolf. I've known Ben for God knows how many years. Face paints and coming out of a more aggressive persona, trying to psych your opponent out, it doesn't work with him. I genuinely don't think he cares what type of attire or what type of attitude or what type of style Brandon Wolf brings at Glory Days. He's a target for him. But at the same time, we saw the complete flip Brandon on Superstar Mayhem, where he dived onto Ben Hopkins. I think the comments that Ben's made have fired Brandon Wolf up as well. So this match could swing either way. But I have to back Ben on this, because I think that when it comes to it, he's just a little bit more angry. He wants this just a little bit more. Because maybe Brandon Wolf might think, if he has a great match with Ben, because Brandon Wolf could have a great match with anyone, maybe Ben might see the error of his ways and respect Brandon. But I think that Ben is just too determined. He wants to win that junior heavyweight title. He needs to win that to prove to not only to prove to himself that he is one of the future and he deserves that praise. And hell, if he beats Brandon Wolf for Glory Days, if you were thinking, why didn't I get those opportunities that Brandon Wolf's got sooner? And why has he been once sat in the tag team division, sat on the sideline for so long?
Some big insight there. Now we're going to go to AJ Young, who is the first ever AWF Junior Heavyweight Champion, who is no stranger to Brandon Wolf at all, and also has probably familiarized himself with not just Brandon Wolf but also Ben Hopkins because of the upcoming Call All-Stars Championship match at Call All-Stars 9. With all that in mind, first, what do you think of the junior heavyweight division, where it is today? And then second, who is going to be the face representing the division after Glory Days between these two?
The junior heavyweight division a few years ago was a pipe dream. The cruiserweight division ended with a whimper, and it needed a spark to revitalize it. I was that spark, and seeing where it is today with guys like Travis Sparks, Brandon Wolf, and Ben Hopkins, I'm very glad at the progress that the junior heavyweight division has made. I personally think that the junior heavyweight championship is a main event caliber championship, because when you look at Brandon Wolf and Ben Hopkins, they are main event caliber talent. But for Ben Hopkins, this is his first solo match on a grand stage like Glory Days. He's coming with something to prove. So in this case, I'm going to go with Ben Hopkins.
Okay, all right. So that's a hard one to decide. So I'm gonna let them two figure it out there. We'll see what happens. One name that has been mentioned and also is a guest on our show, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what he has to say about it. We have the United States champion John Blackos, who will be defending his U.S. championship in a six-man ladder match. He is defending against Rave, Tyler Watson, Brian Stone, AJ Bronze, Jack Maximus. He doesn't even need to be involved in the finish here to lose. He could be on the outside the ring, he could be backstage, or he could be right there, or he could go up and get the championship. Anyone could walk out with this championship. It's hard to predict, but I'm going to give you guys that responsibility to predict who's going to walk out of here with the U.S. championship. We're going to start with John, though. I know I figure I have an idea of where he's predicting, but I just want to know your insight and what you are thinking about your opponents, and if you have a strategy.
Last time I've been in a six-man ladder match was at, I think I can mention that, was at Anarchy, the COH Cross CCL Super Show. And you saw the things I did there to try and win the hardcore title, right?
Right.
So just imagine what I could do now for the AWF United States title. A title that I possess right now. Because the hardcore title I didn't possess. It was vacant. That title right now is in my position, I guess. I don't know. But what else you want me to say? Like,
Is there someone in this match that you're looking at that you think might be your biggest threat to holding on to that title?
I guess Brian Stone. Other than that, who's Wave? What is Wave? What has Wave done since he lost the title? What has AJ Bronze done? What has Jack Maximus done since coming back, other than beating people from behind? What is the title, Watson? A Randy Orton clone?
Well, these guys could be the next United States champion.
Phillip, it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
No.
Well,
I'm walking in and walking out as the US champion.
okay. Alright. Confidence. AJ, who do you think? We got, I know John's pretty confident, as I would expect him to be, and there's some quality talent in this match. Do you agree that John's going to walk out with the championship, or do you think we're going to see a new U.S. champion?
There's an old saying that holds true. Everyone has a plan until they get hit. And there is no one in this match that hits harder than Brian Stone. So with that said, I'm going to have to go with Brian Stone on this one.
Michael, what do you think? Do you think Brian Stone's going to get the win? Do you think John here is going to retain? Or do you think one of the other competitors in this ladder match is going to win the United States Championship?
Multi-man ladder matches are always hard to predict because you don't know who's going to adapt to the environment around them the best. Anyone can seize an opportunity at any point in time when it comes to this ladder match. It only takes a few seconds to run up that ladder and take that title down right at the start as the match goes on. It's about endurance. It's about making sure you're able to cope with any injury or any pain that's coming through. Being hit with the ladder hurts. And when it comes to this match, there's so much riding on this. When I hear from fans all around the world, or all around in Europe, I hear about John Blackos and Tyler Watson an awful lot, and I know about the fan base and followings that they have gained over this season. When it comes to John might have a plan at the minute. He's coming in here, dismissing all of his opponents. What happens if John, 2 minutes into the match, gets smacked with a ladder square in the face and he's spark out for the rest of it, and someone wakes up and gets that title belt? You can't plan for stuff that hits like that right in a split second. It's all good having a game plan, but you need to adapt to the situation. And I don't think that anyone has adapted better to getting an opportunity and to elevating their stock than Tyler Watson has. If you'd asked me a matter of months ago who Tyler Watson was, I'd have probably shrugged my shoulders and said some random person. But now when you see him, I see a ruthless killer in the ring. And to top that all off, winning the United States title will probably cap off an unexpected season for him. There's a lot of things in England, a lot of shocks. Originally had Leicester City 5,000 to 1 on to win the Premier League title. Tyler Watson is probably 5,000 to 1 on to win this United States title ladder match. He's that unexpected considering the competitors he's in there with. But I'm a betting man, and I will bet on that underdog because he's the only one in this match that I believe can adapt fully to the situation around him.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's a ladder match. It's a matter of being right place, right time. So we'll see I wish you luck, John, but we'll see what happens. Okay.
Okay. I did expect that, but okay. We're just gonna wait for Glory Days and see what happens.
We'll see. Another championship match over on Uprising. We have the Extreme Championship. We have two big dudes who have been beating the hell out of each other with weapons for the past few months. They're dangerous enough on their own, and they've been allowed to have weapons in their hands. Those two big dudes are Brock Manson and the Extreme Champion Mason Chronic. We saw them compete for the championship at Meltdown, and they destroyed each other, and Mason Chronic won the Extreme Championship. Now they're going to meet one last time here. Thing goes. Who's going to be the Extreme Champion? First, we're going to go to AJ, who knows Brock Manson, a former member of the Revolution. Are you going to bet on Brock, or do you think Mason Chronic is going to be the champion to stay?
Being the Extreme Champion means putting your body through absolute punishment. It's wear and tear. Over time, it takes a massive toll on you. Brock Manson has, of course, been AWF Extreme Champion, but when you consider his age and the stuff that he's putting his body through at his age, you have to wonder, how much more does Brock Manson have left in the tank? Mason Chronic, ever since he resurged in Call Wrestling, he's been dominant, he's been fearless, and he's been powerful. So I'm going to have to go with youth on this one. I'm going with Chronic.
Okay, all right. Michael, who do you got here?
When it comes to the Extreme Championship, and when it comes to beating the ever-loving piss out of your opponent, I don't think there's anyone that will possibly do that better than Mason Chronic at the minute. Mason Chronic is a violent individual, and I think he'll take great pleasure in continuously beating down Brock Manson until he can't stand again. Now, Mason Chronic, why he's Extreme Champion at the minute, he's always been destined for big things, and he's going to continue to be a big thing on the Uprising brand going forward into the next season as Extreme Champion. I don't see a way how Brock Manson can beat him at Glory Days.
All right, and John, you see these guys on Uprising all the time. Who's going to be the Extreme Champion?
So you want my prediction, right?
Yeah.
Well, my prediction is the arena is going to get blown up.
Blown up?
Yes.
Because, it is legal.
Yes, because at Meltdown, they already went to extreme levels. But I don't even see how they can top that. So it's gonna be chaos, extreme, hardcore. But in the end, I think Mason Chronic's gonna win it.
Okay, alright. Mason Chronic, we'll see. Will he retain the championship, or will Brock Manson become the first two-time Extreme Champion? And then another battle between two stars from Uprising, where who knows what's going to happen when these two step into the ring. We have Texas Black of the Disciples taking on the Devil's Advocates, Ian Morgan. Ever since Meltdown inside the AWF Championship Elimination Chamber, where Ian Morgan got the surprise elimination where he eliminated Texas Black. Texas Black didn't like that, and these guys have been going at it with one another. This is a big match here for Ian Morgan. Is he gonna get the big win, or will Texas Black be able to take him down? We're gonna go to Michael first on this one.
Yeah, this is another match where you're going to see two people really try and beat the ever-loving hell out of each other. But when it comes to Texas Black, the man is an absolute... I don't even know if you can call him a man. He's an absolute monster. I mean, when you see someone like Texas Black across the ring from you, yeah, you're going to be intimidated. And at such a big stage like this, I'd love to see Ian Morgan pick up the win against Texas Black, but I just don't see it happening. I think that Texas Black has just got too much about him for Ian Morgan. Though he might have eliminated him at the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble is completely different to a one-on-one match at a stage like Glory Days. So I think that Texas Black is going to come out with the win.
Okay, alright. John, who do you got?
Well, indeed, Texas Black is a very dangerous monster. Not man, but monster. He's part of the Disciples. He has done things in the past that were quite disturbing, However, I think Ian Morgan is hungry for
a big win?
For success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so you got Ian Morgan.
I think Ian Morgan is gonna win this match.
Alright. AJ, what do you think about this one? Is it gonna be the monster or is it gonna be a machine?
Texas Black has been around for a while, and there may have been some rumblings of people that say that maybe Texas Black has lost his step. Well, I have a little statistic for you. When Texas Black competed in the AWF Royal Rumble, he had 9 eliminations. That is an entire quarter of the participants of the match that were eliminated by Texas Black. Now, Ian Morgan is someone who, if we had this conversation a year ago, I would have pegged him as being in the main event of Glory Days, either as a challenger or a champion. But it seems that things this season have not gone according to plan for Ian Morgan, and I feel like he just needs that one match to make a statement and probably, shoot himself up to the main event. I think that this is a tough one because it's power versus power, but I got to go with Ian Morgan.
Ian Morgan. It could be. He did make a big moment for himself with last year's Glory Days. We'll see if he makes another big one here. But like Michael said, it's hard to bet against Texas Black and with the Disciples on the side. But we're going to find out at Glory Days, and we shall see who will walk out with the W here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming in a little bit late, we have Jared Extreme joining the panel here.
Sorry, guys. I was a little bit late. The producers were holding me up. They kept insisting I was too ugly for this panel.
Oh. Well.
Wow. In fact, one of them said that, I'm the ugliest commentator he's ever met in his life.
Wow. He must know
I think
a lot
his name
of
was
commentators.
Skylar or something. I'm not sure. All right, let's get going.
Oh, man. Well, with Jared Extreme joining us a little bit late, we're going to get his opinion very briefly, but we're going to do a special rapid-fire round of the matches that we already covered. We're just going to hear who Jared thinks is going to win, and then we're going to pick up with Mike Ryder and Tattoo Taker. So let's go to the top. $1 Million Championship. Don Martin, Travis Sparks, Kamikaze Tank. Who's winning?
I got Travis on this one.
Travis Sparks. All right. Then we got Andre Nogueira, Matt Black teaming up to take on Alberto Jr. and Eddie Sleaze.
Nogueira and Black. I think they got a good team going.
All right. Another tag team matchup. Brent Thompson, C.J. Hawkins taking on Rich and Famous. Who's winning?
Well, I would say Brent and Hawkins, but I don't like Brent, so I'm going to go with Rich and Famous.
Ah, okay. Going into our tag team championship matchup, we have the Maverick Brothers versus Big Dwayne and Dynamite.
Maverick's time is up. Big Dwayne and Dynamite take the titles.
Okay. Disciples, Blood Brothers, World Tag Team titles. Who's going to be the World Tag Team champs?
You can't stop the Disciples.
All right. Internet Championship, the Ultimate One versus Kevin Cash. Is it Nitro or Cash? Who's winning the championship here?
Nitro.
All right. in a match that had a lot of discussion here, Brandon Wolf, Ben Hopkins, Junior Heavyweight Championship. Who's taking?
The choke artist is going to lose. Ben's taking the title.
Oh, wow. United States Championship ladder match. John Blackos, Rave, Tyler Watson, Brian Stone, AJ Bronze, Jack Maximus. Which one of these 6 guys is going to be U.S. champion?
It's tough. Just because he's been wreaking havoc recently, I'm going to say Maximus.
Maximus, okay. Speaking of wreaking havoc, we got Brock Manson, Mason Chronic, Extreme Championship. Who's taking it?
Well, I mean, Chronic.
Chronic.
I mean, Brock's getting old. He's getting sick.
He's getting.
He's going to lose.
He's going to lose. A little too ill.
Yeah, a little bit too ill.
Then we have Texas Black, Ian Morgan. Which one of these 2 big guys, these big two big dudes, who's taking it?
I'll probably be taking a piss during this match, but it'll be in Ian Morgan.
Taking a piss. Well, you might get
the two hosses fighting. You know, they'll be going at it for 20 minutes. I'll have time to use the lube.
That sounds like a long pee there, bud. You got to get something checked out. Now we're back up to where we were. We're gonna have the other panelists join back here. Now we're gonna go into Mike Ryder versus Tattoo Taker. The debate has been, will Mike Ryder, because Mike Ryder's claimed this is going to be his last ride. This is it after Glory Days. Is he leaving with his arm raised high, or is he leaving laid on the mat? We're gonna go to Michael about this first. Is Mike Ryder how is he gonna finish?
This match perhaps defines a phrase like legend versus legend, icon versus icon when it comes to the AWF. This match is etched in the history, and while it will go down in history books as Mike Ryder's final match, all good things must come to an end, and it could go either way, but for me, I think that Mike Ryder will ride off into the sunset with his head held high, picking up a win over Tattoo Taker.
All right. John, who's taking this one? Who's taking this big moment?
Remember, Mike Ryder is undefeated.
Yes, he is.
Glory Days. However, Tattoo Taker is a legend in his own right in the AWF. But I don't think Mike Ryder is going to make the same mistake as another undefeated guy in another promotion.
So you think he's retiring undefeated?
Yes, at Glory Days.
Okay, all right. AJ, I mean, you've seen these guys for the past couple of years. How is Mike Ryder leaving?
This is a battle of 2 first ballot AWF Hall of Famers, but you cannot name me one person that has been more consistently dominant than Tattoo Taker. Tattoo Taker is going into this match knowing that this is a win he cannot get back if he loses. If he loses, Mike Ryder goes into retirement, and Tattoo Taker has to face the music. So with that in mind, I have to go with Tattoo Taker.
All right. Jarrett, who do you have?
I mean, Tattoo Taker has kind of had a renaissance of a year. He had a little bit of a stumble at the King of the Ring. He came back, and he's been going after that world title, and now he's got Mike Ryder, an old rival, in his crosshairs. However, I think that Mike Ryder has come back. He's new. He's refreshed. He's a little bit healthier. Before he came back, he was going through a lot of personal stuff, a lot of stuff that had his health on the line. I think Mike Ryder is going to take the W, and I think he's going to ride off into the sunset on top with an undefeated record.
Okay.
You put Mike Ryder and new in the same sentence. What's wrong with you?
New-ish,
He's about to retire.
Tricks.
Whatever.
Well, we'll see if Tattoo Taker will walk out, putting a stop to Mike Ryder before he goes, or that new kid on the block, Mike Ryder, will leave with the W. We'll see.
Hey, Barry Sanders retired in his prime. Mike Ryder could do the same thing.
So did everybody from the Detroit Lions. That was actually good.
Well, that's a point, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we have another matchup that also contains one of our panelists here. We have AJ Young, Mr. Money in the Bank. He will be facing off with his former tag team partner in the Young Wonders and the Dynasty, in Christopher Wonder, who, the word new was thrown around for Mike Ryder. That we've really seen something new from Christopher Wonder since he's come back after AJ decided to, give him a neck breaker off a ladder. So, AJ, we're gonna go to you first. I know, I know where your prediction is, but what are your thoughts going into this match?
When I basically explained the truth as to why I did what I did to Christopher Wonder, I knew that he was going to retaliate. I'm not stupid. Now, did I anticipate getting punched in the face before a word was said from him? No, but that's a flaw on my part. This is a match that I need to win. I've been a background player for too long. I've been a team player for too long. This is a match that I'm going into knowing that I need to win. Christopher Wonder, he shot up to the top from day one. He was the hot rookie that got to the main event and crashed and burned. He recovered, but he stumbled a little bit from then on. He came under the tutelage of myself and Ben Hitman, and all of a sudden, he became a main eventer again. But me, I've never been world champion in AWF. I've been the slow and steady wins the race type. I've been AWF Junior Heavyweight Champion. I've been AWF Tag Team Champion. I'm the final AWF Money in the Bank. I have been here for 5 years and have seen and done more than probably anybody on this roster. This is a match that I need to win.
All right. Well, now AJ feels he needs to win. Will he win? John, do you think AJ is going to be able to defeat his tag team partner?
Maybe. I mean, Christopher Wonder has found new ways, He's not the same Christopher was in the Dynasty or even before that, the former AWF champion back a long time ago, actually. But AJ Young is on the roll. He still has that money in the bank, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm going for AJ Young on that one.
Going for AJ.
Smart man.
All right. Jared, what do you think?
AJ Young in the past has shown that he talks a big game and he's got a lot of accomplishments, but his Glory Days record, if I remember correctly, he lost to Hartford last year.
He did, yes.
And what was, AJ's thing is that, he was being held back by the older guy. Christopher Wonder's the guy that, 99-0, and then he lost to Glory Days. I feel like Wonder is also looking for a big Glory Days win. He's going to get it. He's come back. I've been very impressed. AJ Young over here doing safety hazards, giving people neck breakers off ladders. Wonder's gonna get the W.
Wonder's gonna get the W.
I took one from Sean Riley, and you all applauded him just fine.
See, Riley's a good man.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get to Riley later. Now, Michael, Wonder or Young?
See, normally when you have a look at when a tag team breaks up, either one man will go steaming on ahead and the other one will falter, or both men will enjoy periods of success. When it comes to the Young Wonders, both of them are extremely talented individuals. When it comes to it, for me, AJ Young is the better man of the two. There are very few people in CAW that I say you can build a brand around, and AJ Young is one of them people. So I believe that not only will AJ win at Glory Days, next season we're going to be talking not only about how AJ Young's gone from Glory Days 4 to Glory Days 5 and had a hell of a year. We're going to be talking about how he will be world champion by the time that Glory Days 5 rolls around. And that is a strong prediction, and that is what I'm going to believe. because I believe that AJ Young is not only the future of this company, but he's the goddamn present.
Wow. High praise. Now,
That's a smart man right there.
I think you made AJ pretty happy over there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if AJ gets his win. We'll see if Christopher Wonder gets his win. It's a hard one to call. Now we're going to go back over to some Uprising matches. We're going to see two former friends, a mentor, a protege, but now at each other's throats and will be locked inside of a cage. Those two men, two former Kings of Call members. You got Danny Hardy, and
you faked me out.
And JMI. They've fought before, and Danny Hardy has walked out with the victory. JMI feels that he can beat Danny Hardy, and that is why it has led to these guys meeting one-on-one again. With all that's happened between the two, inside the cage, who walks out here with the victory? Danny Hardy, JMI. We're going to go to Jared first.
Danny Hardy.
Danny Hardy? You seem pretty confident in that.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say.
All right. John.
Well, last season at Glory Days 3, Danny Hardy was in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah,
against. Yes. And guess who won that match? Danny Hardy. Am I right?
No,
Rockville won.
That would be Evan Rockville. Danny Hardy.
Fake news over here.
Lies.
Danny Hardy does not have a great track record. He has the experience, but he doesn't have the track record to back it up.
Well, that doesn't change my point that JMI came back. He made every single person in the AWF universe believe that he was a changed man, that he was gonna do things right this time around. And guess what happens? At Meltdown, he gets eliminated from the chamber, and then he proceeds to cost Danny Hardy the match, and the title, and the possibility to main event Glory Days 4. So, I think Danny Hardy is about to kill a man. Even though he doesn't have a good track record inside Hell in a Cell, I think he's about to kill the man just because of everything he has done since then. And I'm not even talking about the days of the Kings of Call.
Oh.
So, yeah.
And JMI has nowhere to run. Michael, do you think JMI is going to get his win that he feels that he can get? Or do you agree with Jared and John that Danny Hardy is ruthless and is going to go right through JMI?
It all depends on how JMI plays this match. Danny Hardy has waited so long now to get his hands on JMI. He's been chasing. He wants to beat the ever-loving shit out of him. But JMI is a smart man. He can manipulate that. If he can get Danny Hardy to a point where he's so angry he can't properly focus, JMI can exploit that and escape with a win. But Danny Hardy is a focused man, and he's had this goal to take out JMI, and I think he might just do that when it comes to Glory Days.
All right. Now, AJ, you know these guys pretty well. You've been pretty vocal about your opinions of JMI over the years. So, what do you think here? Is it going to be Danny Hardy that gets the win, or is JMI going to get this win that he feels that he can get?
First, Blackos, allow me to correct you on something. You said everyone in the AWF universe believed JMI was a changed man. I was on commentary for an Uprising with Mr. Phillip here. I did not for 1 second buy that JMI was a changed man. I think Danny Hardy is stupid for believing JMI was a changed man. I still think he's stupid for believing that JMI was a changed man. JMI, guys like him, they don't change. But at the same time, Danny Hardy has been proven to be pretty ruthless, regardless of what match type. You could put all the rules you want on Danny Hardy. He will still find a way to give you a concussion, and that is the least of what he can do. Put a cell around him, I don't see any way that Danny Hardy doesn't walk out the winner in this match. I'm going with Danny Hardy.
All right. We wait to see what happens there. Now, in another match that it's kind of similar in that it's a mentor and a protege, but there's more, almost like there's been some more mind games that have been done over a longer period of time, and that is between the Punisher Fisk and the Alex Enterprise. They were just a few months ago were World Tag Team Champions together until Fisk made a mistake and accidentally cost the Alex Enterprise the AWF Championship. Alex then turned his back on Fisk and told the world that he used Fisk and now he was of no use to him. There's a lot of history, a lot of years between these guys. Will Fisk be able to conquer his creator, or will the Alex Enterprise be Fisk's destroyer? That's the question. We're going to go AJ, Fisk, the Alex Enterprise. Who wins here?
I've been in the ring with both of them. I've beaten both of them. But in this classic case of student versus mentor, Fisk is a powerful individual. He's been one of the next big stars of call wrestling for a while. But Alex Enterprise, I think mind games is simply going to be too much for Fisk. I'm going with Alex Enterprise on this one.
All right. Michael, what do you think?
The Alex Enterprise is perhaps a master manipulator, one of the best. And, it's almost similar to when it comes to Fisk, I think it might be almost similar to what Brandon Wolf might be feeling in his match, where it might be maybe he feels like he can retrieve that friendship that he had with the Alex Enterprise, where they work so well together. We talked earlier about how dominant the Disciples were. Who were the two people that beat them? The Alex Enterprise and Fisk. Alex Enterprise saying that Fisk has outstayed his usefulness and that he got rid of him because of that. Fisk has a lot to prove in this match, and if he can take out the Alex Enterprise, that is going to catapult him next season to bigger and better things. And I think that with what's going on, I think the Fisk might just be able to get the victory. But when it comes to the issues between these two, I think that they are far from being over.
All right. John, who do you have?
Alex Enterprise is a sick, twisted man. But you can almost say the same to Fisk. And like you said, they have a long history together, and I think the student is gonna surpass the quote-unquote master of Funarchy at Glory Days.
And then we're going to go to Jared. You've called a lot of Fisk matches over the years.
I have, yeah.
This is a little bit different than we've seen, a different equation for Fisk that we've ever seen him go into a match before.
Well, yeah. I know Fisk. I mean, we're fishing buddies. We go way back. Yeah. So I've been talking to him about this, and it's just he has Alex in his mind. It is stuck in there, and the issue with him is that when he is set on something, he will not stop until that is done. You look at other promotion, and he's been going after the same guys for years, just because he just will not stop until they are put down permanently. I feel like this is the same thing for Alex, and that rage can sometimes block him. It can distract him, and I think the Alex Enterprise is going to make a statement and take out his old student. As much as I hate to say it, I think that's going to be the case. I think Fisk bit off way more than he can chew in this situation.
Okay, all right. It's very interesting. We'll see what happens. Now we're going to go to one last match before we get to the World Heavyweight Championship matches for both brands, and that is one of the most anticipated matches on the card between the leader of the Redneck Nation, Ray Geddes, and the icon, Shawn O'Connor. They've not made it no secret. They have no love for one another. Who's going to win here? They finally going to collide one-on-one. We're gonna go to AJ first on this. Ray Geddes, who you faced before, can he beat Shawn O'Connor? Can Shawn O'Connor beat Ray Geddes?
I mean, this one is pretty tough. Obviously, I've had my fair share of issues with Ray. I really haven't interacted much with Shawn O'Connor since he's been back. However, this is a tough one, but as much as I hate to admit it, I gotta go with Ray on this one. He's just another level as far as, an in-ring performer, and he brings entertainment value like no one else in call wrestling. Yeah, he's a tough guy. I gotta go with the Raging Redneck.
Okay, all right. Jared, who do you have?
Well, Shawn O'Connor is one of those guys that, he just drives everyone he sees insane. He's one of those guys that knows he's a cocky prick and does everything to show that he is one. And he's doing that with Ray Geddes. I mean, you've seen the videos he's made about him, just taunting him, making fun of his mannerisms. I just don't think Ray's going to stand. I think Ray's going to win this match, and I think he's going to send him back to Canada or wherever the hell he's from.
All right.
But I got a little of a side bet going here because we all know he likes to talk. How many promos do you think Shawn O'Connor's going to have during Glory Days? My money's on six promos.
6
during Glory Days.
Wow.
There we go.
Well, we shall see. Now we're gonna go Michael here. Who do you have?
Shawn O'Connor's going to walk away with the win. I think that while Ray, he doesn't want to show it publicly. I think that Shawn O'Connor's really gotten under his skin, really irritated him. And if there's one person that can exploit that, getting under someone's skin, it's going to be Shawn O'Connor. I don't see. Ray has all the talent in the world, but to me, Shawn O'Connor has got him beat on the mental level. And if you can't enter a game, you can't enter a match fully focused on what the match is at hand, then you've already lost. And I think that Shawn O'Connor has done a great way of building it up, making Ray so nettled that he can't fully focus on his game plan. He just wants to go in there and beat up Shawn O'Connor. Yeah, if he can survive that early onslaught, Shawn O'Connor can and will walk away with the win.
Alright, and John, who do you have?
Well, Shawn O'Connor is indeed cocky. He's indeed he talks a lot of smack, especially about Ray Geddes, ever since their issue started. But you know how Ray Geddes is. You know that you don't talk shit about Ray without consequences. And I think these consequences are gonna come at Glory Days. I think Ray Geddes is gonna win this match.
Alright. Very interesting. And and Jared kind of touched upon it, and for Shawn O'Connor, what's he gonna say? Well, we're about to find out what he's going to say, because right now we're going to send it over to an exclusive interview that I conducted earlier on today with Shawn O'Connor, and he's got some controversial thoughts about the Raging Redneck. Ladies and gentlemen, Phillip Ontario here, and I am being joined by the man that will face the Raging Redneck, Ray Geddes, at Glory Days 4, the icon, Shawn O'Connor. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Phillip. It's the icon, the best in all of car wrestling, the number one, the man who is better than Ray Geddes, the man who's going to prove once and for all that there is somebody better than the dumbass hillbilly.
Well, you're going to certainly get your chance to prove that at Glory Days 4 when you guys face one-on-one. Now,
I've already proved it. How many times did I KOS him? How many more times do I have to KOS him? I'm promising you that it's going to be at least 10 times.
10 times? Well, we'll see. We'll see at Glory Days. You know, it's been for the past year and a half now that you've been back. Certainly one of the top names that has caught your eye since being back is Ray Geddes, a man who, when you were gone, came into Call Wrestling and took the world by storm, and he gained a huge following from a lot of the fans. From someone who was on the sidelines and then coming back and seeing that, what did you think of Ray Geddes' following here in Call Wrestling?
What did I think of Ray Geddes' following? I think they're a bunch of sheep. I think they see this man who portrays himself as this rough and tough son of a bitch who owns a private island, has his own little bars and stuff, these rundown shitholes. He presents himself as this amazing guy. This guy who came from nothing and achieved so much. And he can string such good words together because he knows how to use a fucking thesaurus. And what else does he got? He's fake. That's what he is. He portrays himself as these things, but as we learn, the man has a wife. The man has a child. The man that we think is Ray Geddes isn't really actually who Ray Geddes is. I bet that he doesn't even sound like he does. I bet he changes his voice.
Well, need that as his be, that brings me to my next question here. We've seen a lot of people exchange words with Ray Geddes in many different promotions, and even here in the AWF. But I believe for the first time, this family has been mentioned by yourself. Why did you feel that it was necessary to mention Ray Geddes' family?
Because I think it's time that Ray Geddes stops lying to everybody else. It's time that Ray needs to be his real self. And that real self is this old, insecure man who has no business being here anymore. He's gotten everything he wants because he has this sheep following. And he gets that because he plays on the strings, the heartstrings of all these people. Presents all this facade. But he's really just an ordinary man. An ordinary man who's going to get KOS to hell at Glory Days. An ordinary man who has a wife, a child. He's nobody special. And it's time that everybody knows that. Because I don't think they know that. Do you know that? Do you know that Ray Geddes is just an ordinary man? I'm not an ordinary man. I'm above him. And I'm here to prove that. I really... It's fucking time. Nobody takes me seriously. I beat Ben Hitman, and I get a match in a 6-man elimination chamber match. I don't get a one-on-one match.
Well, you make a valid point there. You make a valid point.
Nobody takes me seriously, and it's time. Ray Geddes is the one person that I know that if I could go out there and I can KOS him to hell, that people will take me seriously.
Now, you've made it clear, as you just did now, and as you have over the course of the past few months. You have a pinfall victory over Ben Hitman, the World Heavyweight Champion. And you were put in an elimination chamber instead of a one-on-one match. Obviously, you've made it clear that you feel today you deserve a championship match. There's
no doubt. I am the best in the world at what I do.
Well, if you are able to do what you say you're going to do, and that is beat Ray Geddes and expose Ray Geddes, is without question, is the next step for Shawn O'Connor to become AWF World Heavyweight Champion?
I say it all the time. I'm the man who should be there. I'm the man who should get a one-on-one shot. And I could sit here today and say that that's the next thing. It's always the next thing. But when am I going to get that opportunity? Am I going to get that opportunity? I can come out here week after week, episode after episode, and say that I deserve a one-on-one shot. I can prove it time and time again. I can beat Ben Hitman in a non-title match, and I still won't get my shot. So now's the time. I beat good old Raging Redneck. I absolutely 100% positively demand that one-on-one match for the world title. And I guarantee you that just like what I'm going to do to Ray Geddes, 10 KOSs or more, I'm going to do to the champion coming out of Glory Days.
Well, if you're able to do that, we've just discussed what's next for you. For Ray Geddes, for the past few months, for what you guys have been going back and forth with each other, if he is not able to defeat you at Glory Days, what do you think that means for him?
If he's not able to defeat me?
Yes.
Retirement.
You think if he cannot beat you, that is the end of the line for Ray Geddes?
It is absolutely the end of the line. He should go and he should make sure that he can take care of that baby of his. Because after I'm done with him, he won't be able to walk anymore.
Well, that's certainly some strong words, and I know, and there might be some fans who disagree, but that is certainly your opinion, and that could be a realistic scenario.
It is gonna be a realistic scenario. It is gonna happen. I always tell the truth. Everything I do comes to fruition, and I promise you that I will destroy. I will destroy Ray Geddes, and I will go on, and I will defeat the world champion, and I will walk away as the face that runs the place, the best in the world, the greatest of all time, the icon, the number one.
Now, I have one last question, and this is a big question that I think a lot of people have been wondering over the course of the past few months, with words that have been exchanged between you two, and the way and the actions and how you've talked to
Just
one of
get
yourself.
on with it.
Do you respect Ray Geddes?
I'm not going to answer that question. It doesn't matter if I respect Ray Geddes. What matters is that he's fake. I am real. I'm better, and I'm going to prove that.
Okay. Well, we'll see it at Glory Days 4 when Shawn O'Connor faces Ray Geddes, and it should be a classic match. Thank you for your time. Well, those are some interesting words, but see what happens when those two collide. Now we're on...
The promo comment was a joke. I didn't think he was actually going to cut one during the freaking pre-show. Damn it.
We conducted an interview. So now we are moving on to our two main events. The main event of day 1, the main event of day 2. Both world championships. First, we're going to start with the main event of day 1 for the AWF championship. A rematch from CyberSlam. The champion, Dr. Steven Syntax. The man who's been champion since he beat Sean Riley, his opponent, for the championship. After that match, Sean Riley took some time away, and he's come back. New music, a little bit of a different look, bigger beard. Is that going to be enough to take down the Disciples' own Steven Syntax? I don't know. Personally, I hope he does. But this doesn't come down to what I want to see. But I'm going to ask you guys what you guys think you will see. So, first, Jared, Syntax, Riley, who's going to be the AWF champion after this?
I've been watching Riley... my apologies. I've been watching the AWF for a very, very long time. I can't think of a more dominant champion than what Syntax has done with this title over on Uprising. Every single challenger he's had in his way, whether it be someone like a Tattoo Taker and Alex Enterprise or Fisk, he's put them all down. And he's beaten Sean Riley before on a big stage like CyberSlam. I feel like with the stakes a bit higher in Glory Days, I feel like it's going to be the exact same. Riley wants to start this narrative that he's the hero that's going to take down the villain, but sometimes not every hero gets their happy ending. I think Steven Syntax wins this match and retains his championship.
All right. Michael, another guy from England. Do you think it's going to be a win there, or do you think Sean Riley's going to recapture the AWF championship?
I absolutely think it's going to be another win from another person from England. Sean Riley can take all the time that he wants to have off. He can grow his beard as long as possible. He can listen to much POD as he wants to. There is no way in hell that he's beaten Steven Syntax when it comes to this match at Glory Days. Steven Syntax is on another level. There is no one, I mean absolutely no one that performs like Steven Syntax. You try and scout, you try and think, how can you beat Steven Syntax? You just simply cannot do that. There's not been a man that has probably had it as quick as a rise straight to the top of the AWF like Steven Syntax. He's going to continue for a while. Sean Riley is a good competitor, I'm not denying, but when it comes to Steven Syntax, he has his number. Well, you know, Sean Riley's music, it talks about how he feels so alive. He's not going to be feeling that when it comes to the end of this match.
All right. John, who do you have here? Do you think you just faced Sean Riley in the main event of Uprising, and now he did walk out with the victory there, so you know he has what it takes to win big matches, but we know he's lost to Syntax in the past. Who do you have here?
Well, let me start by saying this. Michael is sure as hell a supporter of his country. But anyway.
I'm an overseas correspondent. It's my job.
Wow. Kind of. Anyway. Yes, I faced Sean Riley on the last Uprising before Glory Days, and I think he's ready. I mean, he beat me, so I think he's more ready than ever to have payback on Steven Syntax, although Syntax does have the Disciples on his side, but Sean Riley has the AWF universe on his side, so I think personally the AWF universe is stronger than the Disciples.
Okay, alright. And now AJ, you know, we kind of loosely talked about it a little bit earlier. You've been in the ring with Sean Riley before. You know what he brings to the table, but you've seen what Syntax.
He nearly broke my neck.
He did, yeah, he almost did. So, what do you think? Do you think, because I know you've been a vocal supporter of what Syntax has been doing as champion, and you think that I know you think he's been nearly unstoppable. But is Sean Riley that guy? Is he going to be that guy that can beat him? Or do you think Syntax is just going to move on and keep being on top?
Let me preface this by saying I absolutely hate Sean Riley. I think he's overhyped. I think people put a lot more stock in Sean Riley than they should. But I will say that Sean Riley is a big match competitor. He's gone to war with Evan Rockville. He's gone to war with Brock Manson. He's gone to war with Danny Hardy, and has still come out on top. But there was one roadblock that has been in his way ever since CyberSlam, and that roadblock has been Steven Syntax. If the Disciples are known for anything, it's being dominant champions. That era of domination from the Disciples continues, and it continues with Steven Syntax beating Sean Riley at Glory Days.
All right. Now we're on to the main event of Day 2, the match that has had the whole call world talking. A rivalry reignited. The AWF World Heavyweight Champion, Ben Hitman, defends the the championship against the winner of the Royal Rumble, Evan Rockville. These guys have a rich history between these two. They have gone far, far, far with each other over the years on both ends. In some ways, seemingly, there was no way of recovery for either one of these guys. This is not their first meeting out of Glory Days. Back at Glory Days 2, they faced inside Hell in a Cell. Ben Hitman walked out that and survived as the victor. But Evan Rockville was gone for months until he came back as the Evan Rockville that we know today. With all that in mind, with all that has taken place in the past few months between these two, with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, in a match that both these guys, they both need the win, and they both can't lose, but only one can win. Who will be that man who walks out with the victory? AJ, we're going to go to you first. I know you're associated with Ben Hitman, so you know more than anyone else what's going through his mind right now. Do you think that he has it? Do you think he can bring it and beat Evan Rockville at Glory Days?
This is a rivalry that defines AWF. When you think AWF, the first thing that comes to mind is Hitman versus Rockville. This is a rivalry that has spanned years and years and years. But learning from Ben Hitman for about a couple years now, he is at the top of his game. You'd think that with age, he'd slow down a little bit, he'd take a step back. No, I've seen him personally. I've teamed with him. He is on another level as a competitor. We said that a lot about people that we've gone down this card with, but with Ben Hitman, it couldn't be any truer. The whole issue of vengeance, it's not about wives anymore, but that has been at the back of Hitman's mind for a while. Evan Rockville has made this man's life a living hell, and I think that Ben Hitman still is going to walk away with the victory. Rockville can come back with as many new incarnations of himself as he wants, but this is still Ben Hitman's AWF. This is still the Dynasty's AWF, and the World Heavyweight Championship is going to stay in the Dynasty.
All right. John, who do you have here? Who's going to be the World Heavyweight Champion?
Evan Rockville went through 30 men to win the Royal Rumble and choose which championship he was going for. And he decided to go after Ben Hitman. And I think it's the worst decision he could have ever made. Because we already know the history between those two men. Like, I don't think I need to say things about the things that happened a long time ago. But I think just the fact that Evan Rockville chose to face Ben Hitman at Glory Days 4, I think just that it just pissed him off to a level that there's no going back right now. And I think that Ben Hitman is gonna prove why he is and why he will always be better than Evan Rockville.
Okay, all right. Michael, who's going to win this one? Evan Rockville, another native from England. Is that going to be another win for the UK, or is Ben Hitman going to win here and keep the World Heavyweight Championship?
Canada versus England. Headlines one of the days for the American Wrestling Federation. It makes my job a hell of a lot easier when it comes to helping prepare AWF for a global expansion, a global takeover. When it comes to this feud, I don't think there is a feud in CAW as it stands at the minute that is more defined. These roles have been reversed as time has gone on. And Evan Rockville has done some despicable things in the past that Ben Hitman has every right to not forgive him for. It all comes down to a lot of these matches you can think about the build-up to it, but these two, I don't believe the build-up matters. On that day, whoever the better man is will win it. There won't be any luck, any flukes or whatever. These two men, there is no other feud where the two people want to kill each other the way that these two do. You know, it's hard to say. I would love Evan Rockville to walk out with the title. As another person from England, of course I would. But at the same time, Ben Hitman is perhaps one of the best pound for pound wrestlers. You know, you don't become a 10-time world champion through luck. Well, you might become a 10-time world champion by booking yourself, but that's another story for another time. So, you know, yeah, I'd love Evan Rockville to win this title, but Ben Hitman is driven. Ben Hitman, I don't think wants to lose. He needs to win this match. Both men need to win this match, but neither man can afford to lose this match. We've spoken about it, but I've spoken to Mr. Walsh about it, that whoever loses this match, it's going to be a long time before they reach the top of that card again. So we're going to see two men leave it all in the ring. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to go Evan Rockville. I have to.
All right. That leaves you, Jarrett. Who do you have? What it would seem, this seems to be the last chapter here between these two. Who's going to close it with the World Heavyweight Championship?
That is tough. Because you look at, I mean, as everyone said, they have such an extensive history going back to the first ever Glory Days when this whole rivalry started.
Mm-hmm.
And it culminates 3 seasons later at Glory Days 4. The roles have been reversed. I mean, back then Rockwell was a despicable human being. Now it's Hitman in the despicable human being area. We've seen Rockwell cause Hitman to kick his wife in the face. And then his wife came out a couple mayhems ago and kicked Rockville in the dick. So, you know, times have changed. And part of me has thought ever since Rockville came back a little bit before Civil War last season that, you know, he's just kind of, he's been back and he's still a big name, but he's just been there. Now I feel like it's his chance to finally become the star that he once was once again on the grandest stage of them all, the most important match possibly in AWF history. Ben Hitman has had a firm hold over that championship for the majority of the season over on Superstar Mayhem. And while Syntax, I feel like there's no stopping his reign, I feel like it's Rockville's time, and Rockville's going to close the show winning that title once again and bringing some good to Superstar Mayhem.
All right, you got a Rockville win there. It's hard to say.
I like Hitman's wife though.
Well,
got a nice wife.
Well,
although I feel like if I'm saying that, I'm bringing shame to the female gender.
Perhaps you should watch what
you're just asking. Yeah,
you're just asking. The last person that had some comments about Ben Hitman's wife. Well, you saw what she did to him.
Yeah, he got kicked.
Yeah. So I'd be careful over there. You know, there's going to be
I'll lock my doors.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens in this encounter and all throughout Glory Days 4. Down below, we'd love for if the fans let us know what you think is going to happen. Who's going to win these big matches? Who's going to be the champions going into the new season? We're going to find out the answers to those questions at Glory Days 4. It's just about here, the biggest event in AWF history. I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining me here for this reaction podcast. We'll be back, I'm sure, months from now, and we'll see what has happened since. But now, the road to Glory Days 4 is here.